Hey, everybody. How are we doing today? It's Hillary, the marketing mom. Glad I'm able to join you on this wonderful Friday. It has been a few Fridays that I haven't joined. So, as I shared on our Tuesday live with Deb, they're going to have a few changes moving forward with my daily lives. We're going to be shifting to a weekly training, and definitely I'm going to be diving a little deeper so that we get more training type things inside of the lives versus the everyday coming on and just sharing a little tidbit. Okay, so haven't figured out exactly when in terms of a timing, but I wanted to jump on this Friday and share that with you. So also that means that Fridays I'm going to be not doing my homeschooling update. Basically that's going. All right. And once you start going, you realize that there's very little you could update on other than don't stress yourself out. Yes, you've got to take assessments and everything. So, like next week is assessment week. But today, what we're diving into is why is digital marketing so important? And a lot of people, especially 2020 has showed us that if your business isn't online or if your business wasn't online, you need to be online. Okay. So, that being said, today I've got a presentation that I want to share. And this is a part of a presentation that I did for a training a little while back. And it basically kind of goes through the reason for having digital marketing. Okay. So when we're talking about digital marketing, what we're going to be talking about basically is why use digital marketing, what you need to maximize the channel to actually generate revenue. So basically, what we're going to be going through is kind of like the online ecosystem, your distribution hub, how advertising helps with that. And then my favorite part is the data, because many of you who already know me, all right, most of you already know who I am, right? I am an engineer at heart, all right? So oops. Yeah. So I am an engineer at heart. So I really love data. All right. So why use digital marketing? Digital. All right. Now, many of you know I'm an engineer. Okay. And engineers make things, and some of you know that I'm an industrial engineer. Industrial engineers make things even better. And one of the things that I realized as I came into the online world and online digital and online marketing is that there's a lot to be learned here for marketers from an engineer's perspective. Because what do engineers like? Engineers like data. So we're going to do the things that are going to give us the data to be able to improve. That's the only way we're going to make things better. Now, as a business person, you don't care about all of that. All you care about is making the sale. Marketing is everything, and everything is marketing. So you want to be out there marketing your business and making the sales and all of that stuff. But how are you going to do that? So back in the day when I was, studying my MBA, we had this beautiful, I would say, I called it a complex system of marketing. So when people talk marketing, most people are focused on maybe one aspect of marketing, which is advertising. Okay. Now, in the digital marketing space, what you will see is direct marketing. You could do direct online marketing. You could do direct online advertising. You could do online personal selling. And what is great about every one of the different aspects of marketing, all right, and keeping in mind that when it comes to the marketing that we're talking about in the digital space, we're really talking promotion. All right. We're not talking about the other four P's. We're not talking about media relations. We're not talking about influencer relations and all of those government relations. We're not talking about any of that. Right, the marketing that we're talking about is over here with the customer and specifically under promotion. And then we break down into all of these. Most people focus solely on advertising. And as you can see from this presentation, you've got online and offline. Everything has an online and offline component. So what you need to really understand is that first, to begin with, what you're doing online in advertising, it's going to be one, a small part of what you're doing, but also you're only on the online side. You're not even considering what's happening offline or the impact of what you're doing online is happening offline. Okay. So I want us to bear that in mind, keep a focus on that, because a lot of people, they miss this whole overarching, I guess, this whole complex nature of marketing. And when they think of online advertising, they're not seeing how minute of a portion it plays in your entire promotional analysis, as you can see here in this slide. All right. So definitely, why use digital marketing? Okay, digital, obviously, because for me as an engineer, all right, I like data. Okay, what anything digitalized does is it gives you access to data. Now, you do have to set things up properly to get that data. Okay, but that is one of the biggest pros to using digital marketing versus offline marketing. Okay, excuse me. Because what you want is to know if what you're doing online actually has an impact on getting you leads, getting you sales, all right, in your business. So it's easily disseminated. You could sit down on your computer and share it out. You could target your audiences very well. And I did a training on that recently in terms of targeting your audience. And then you have direct metrics. As I talked about, it's the access to the data. You have direct access to leads, events, download, sales, and all the other type of measures that you possibly want to measure. Now, what is interesting is when I did this presentation, one of the cons was that you could not directly track the effect of other forms of promotion that you do offline, like branding and publicity. Now, if you do branding and publicity campaigns online, you could track the effect of it using specific tools. Okay, so there are other big tools. I'm not going to get into those details now. But what is very great is that as we advance, what you're seeing is that you could measure the impact of digital campaigns that are specific to branding, digital campaigns that are specific to gaining publicity. Now, again, it has to be digital because that's the only way we're going to track it. So if you go on television and you do an interview on TV, unless you take that TV clip and you put it on a digital media, Facebook, Instagram, wherever, we're not going to be able to see the real impact of that because we can't pull data from the television viewers. We can't see what they're doing. All right. So that was always, why marketing couldn't give you proper ROI, right? Because you're on TV, and only the people who were able to spend the big bucks advertising on TV did they ever, have the ability to see what's going on. All right. So one of the things that you're going to need, and this is something that's very important, you need to have what we call an online ecosystem, or at least be a part of the online ecosystem. And this is where, again, a lot of small businesses, they fall down, okay? Because if you're going to run advertising, which we call PPC over here, all right, you're trying to get people to click on ads or click on a post, all right? And the way you do that is by pushing money into it, right? But where are people purchasing? On some sort of website, okay? Most of your advertising comes from some sort of social channel, okay? Whether it's Google, it's no longer Google Plus, we're just saying Google, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, you could throw in Pinterest there as well. But all of this is still coming back to your website, whether that's your e-commerce website, as I shared yesterday on our BDTV, okay? Whether it's your e-commerce website, whether it is your own blog or website or anything like that, okay? Which dumps people into an email sequence that sells them. So they may not be sold the first time they land on your website, but by grabbing their name, email, and contact information, you are able to do what we call follow-up. Doesn't have to be email. It could be messenger. It could be you actually picking up the phone and calling them and following up with them. All right. And that is what generates the sale. And then that's what you pump back into your advertising to get people into this online ecosystem. Now, this is a lot, okay? Now, for those who don't have their online ecosystem, what I want you to do is you could comment below, just comment training, because I've recently completed a training where we set up the start, to me, I call it the start of your ecosystem, which we call your distribution hub, okay? So when we look at your distribution hub, your website is your distribution hub. It's where everything happens. Okay. So if you don't have that website, you're going to need to first get that. Okay. Now, yes, some people, they do like, if it's e-commerce, for example, you're doing Spotify, or you're doing maybe selling off of eBay or selling off of Amazon. All of that is great, but you still need a hub. You still need a distribution hub where people are going to be going back and forth between your social channels and your website, which is you. So as I said, we just finished completing this training. It would be available pretty soon. So if you want access to that, and then there are also some other trainers who have provided lots of training, Pinterest training, Facebook, LinkedIn. If you want to maximize using LinkedIn, definitely hit me up. Either send me a direct message, or you could drop a comment below if you want access to the rest of those trainings. Okay. But your hub is where your business starts. Okay. So without this ecosystem, and let me just go back a little, without this ecosystem, you pretty much aren't able to sell online, and then you will pretty much not be able to get the benefits of digital marketing. Okay. So that's very important to note, that without this ecosystem, you don't have access to what are the benefits of digital marketing to begin with. If you're doing offline things online, you're not putting the things in place, all right, you're not going to be able to measure your results. Okay. Because for most people, marketing is something that they just can't measure until you go online. All right. So once you have your ecosystem in place, your website becomes a distribution hub. We've got to understand, all right, that social media, I put Facebook here, but social media as a whole changes constantly. And whether you're on Facebook or whether you're on Instagram or Pinterest, they want their communities to remain a community, and they want to serve the community. And you always have to keep that in mind. All right. And one of the things that, their rules and everything changes from time to time, but you want to always stay on top of their rules, because you're on their playground, on their platform, and you're utilizing their network to develop your business. Okay. So you've got to play within the rules. All right. Facebook is becoming very much, I want ads that improve the experience of people's engagement on Facebook. All right. So that is something that you also have to be mindful of when you're playing on these platforms. So when it comes to marketing your business, all right, this is what they suggest. Okay. And this has been the suggestion from as long as I could remember. It's not going to change. And if we think about it, this is exactly how you're going to measure. For those who like to say, okay, I'm going to create a Facebook page, but it's really a profile, and then you go and you do a set of business stuff on your profile, and then you get shut down. This is why. Because they want you to create a business page. A business page for your business. Now, this does not mean that you can't share things on your personal profile. There are ways of doing that. Hit me up if you want to know. Okay. But then you go through a process, a natural process of creating a page, creating engaging content, advertising, targeting your audience, and then measuring. Okay. So this is what Facebook from time memorial has suggested. And no matter how many times they tell you to do this, people still go against Facebook's rules, and then they get banned from Facebook, and then they want to know, why does Facebook hate me? Okay. They want you to share what's happening. Okay. So it's not just buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. Okay. And I've talked about this before. We're going to have more training on what to post. Okay. But they want you to share stories and content that your fans and your readers are going to engage with. Now, if you go back to the training where I looked at your target audience and how you define your target audience, by knowing who you want to target, that's how you create the content. Okay. And that's the type of content that you're going to push out there. All right. So when Facebook talks about targeting, there's something inside of advertising that allows you to do deep dive targeting that we'll talk about. Okay. So Once you've done that, this is where the measuring comes in. All right. This is where the measuring comes in, and you're able to deep dive using Facebook's analytics and other analytics tools. All right. Um, to be able to see what's going on. And this is where you're going to continue to refine your targeting. Okay. Once you've done that, you could even use, now this is where I get a little giddy and ticklish, because if you've got, access to different tools, like this is Tableau. So this is a Tableau dashboard. Okay. And yeah, I put the link. What I could do is share, because this is a very cool example of what Tableau, the power of other analytics tools. You could put your data in and actually be able to see some impact in terms of an answer specific questions. Okay. Like what happened on this day based on the post. Okay. So you could see engagement was like this, and then all of a sudden it spiked. You can go back now and look to see what post was that I put up. All right. So when you're looking at your ROI, let's call it ROI, or the impact of your digital marketing, having the data is key. Now, one of the things I just want to go back here is that Facebook doesn't give you the data if you don't advertise. Okay. I want to be very clear there. If you don't advertise, Facebook is not going to give you the data. All right. All right. If you don't advertise, Facebook won't give you the data. But then if you don't create a page, you can't advertise. Okay. And you can't advertise nothing. You've got to have content in order to advertise. Okay. So Facebook knows what they're telling you to do. And this is all other social platforms as well. Okay. So once you followed the process, you're now going to be able to look at your data and maybe even be able to pull more data and put it into other types of tools. The other tool that is obviously very powerful, but it depends on what type of campaigns you set up, is Google Analytics. Okay. Now with Google Analytics, you could set up different campaigns, set up your link UTM tracking. Okay. And then also what you can do with all of that is set up goals. All right. So if you've got specific sales goals, you know that if somebody clicks on this link, the purchase value is X, and you could put all of that information into Google Analytics, and then it could tell you, okay, when you ran this ad on Facebook and it came to this link, this is what happened. And you're able to make more informed decisions for your business and how the social media is actually impacting your business, rather than just posting images of, whatever you're doing on Facebook, right? So a lot of businesses, they fail to remember that, okay, you're doing things like you're putting out images of your product, right? And you may share that on your personal profile, okay? But what does the image lead to? Going back to our ecosystem, okay? What does it lead to? What does an image on your Facebook page lead to for somebody to be able to buy? Does it lead to a messenger sequence? Does it lead to a landing page where people can opt in to get more information? Make your digital marketing count, because then all it is pretty much like what happens offline, where you have no idea if it's working or not. Okay. And we want to make sure that you know what's going on in your online marketing world. Okay. So online marketing, online engagement, and advertising go hand in hand. It is not a campaign. It is a long-term strategy. All right. This is not something that you're going to start and stop and start and stop and start and stop and start and stop. Right. You may have to do that because of budgets or whatever. But understand that when it comes to social engagement, it is something that you've got to keep doing, because the algorithms are only going to help you if you help it. Okay. You've got to continue to grow your fan base. You have to continue to put out valuable content. And I'm not saying, okay, you could take a week off, you could take 2 weeks off, but still have content being pushed out there, okay? Because you need to keep up with all of this. It's very important that you understand when algorithms change. Follow different people who are aware of these things, okay? You want to post frequently and consistently. When I say frequently, I don't mean 10 times a day. You want to be consistent, okay, with your posting. And as I said, boost, right? So engagement boosting, you want to always be driving people to your site, whatever your site is, wherever that is, that people are going to buy, whether people are going to connect with you, engage with you. always try to make sure that once a week you're doing some sort of minimal advertising that goes towards your website. Okay, you just don't want to advertise for advertising's sake. You're going to be wasting money. Have a strategy and make sure that you're balancing the engagement and the advertising. Okay, so coming back again to our big, very confusing slide. Let's keep in mind that even with all of this stuff that we talked about, okay, creating the page, doing all the posts, the advertising, the just keep in mind that the online part of it, and we're talking about whatever the online part is, keep in mind that it's still a very small part of your entire marketing communication strategy. There are many other things that go into your marketing, and I don't want you to ever forget that. Okay, even though I'm a digital marketer, I know where I play, I know where I focus. Direct marketing, advertising, maybe a little bit of personal selling. Okay, sales, promotion, they all have an online element that can be tracked, that can be measured, so that you're able to see what's happening and how you're performing in the online space. All right, so that's today's presentation. If you have any questions or you want to book a strategy session with me today, go ahead and do that at hillarydefreitas.com/strategy. You want to dive deeper into what we've shared here today, definitely do that, and we will be in touch. So moving forward, Fridays are going to be more of our in-depth training day, and we're still going to have my Deb and Hillary on Tuesdays. Benny and I will still be BDTV on Thursdays, and then on Friday you will see me on a Friday. Okay, so have a great day, and if you've got value from this training, do share it with your fellow entrepreneurs, because they need to have an understanding, all right, of why use digital marketing and why use digital marketing the correct way. Data drives everything, and the only way you could drive data is if you set up your ecosystem, as I showed, properly, all right, so that you understand how to go about doing that. Okay, so have a great weekend, everybody, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.